How do you beat anxiety and depression naturally without the use of medication? Well, in order to do that, you need to be aware of two major components that contribute to anxiety and depression. Because if you're not aware of them, then how are you supposed to change them and end your suffering? Well, there's two major components. The first is a mindset component of how and what you're thinking. And then second is a physiological component, one of digestion, blood sugar issues, microbiome imbalance, and chronic inflammation. And I did a deeper dive into both of those issues in separate videos. So if you missed those videos, you can check those videos out here. So this video, we're going to be talking about action steps, what you can do to improve your mindset and your physiology so that you can end your suffering with anxiety and depression. So let's review the mindset component, things that you need to be aware of in your thinking that can invite anxiety and depression into your life. First is that everything that happens to us is 100% neutral. Once we experience something, we internalize it and process it and run it through our belief system, we have the choice of either painting it good or bad. Second is learning how to be present all day long. Most people have busy lives and are very scatterbrained and are either in the future or the past and are simply not present. Next is our comparison to others. When you're comparing yourself to others, you're inviting anxiety and depression into your life. The only one you should be comparing yourself to is you. Are you evolving and growing your character and coming from a place of strength and confidence and compassion versus fear and doubt? Next is our obsession with the future.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine? Out of a DeLorean?
Wanting to control the outcome of things or wanting to control what other people do. And realizing that you really don't have control over any of that. The only thing you have control over is what you think, what you say, and what you do. So learning to understand that and be confident in those things and detaching yourself from the outcome of things can go a long way in beating anxiety and depression. And the last thing that you need to be aware of is that all stress is 100% self-induced. Based on what I just said, learning to master these types of mindsets and things to avoid can go a very long way in helping you to beat anxiety and depression. So how do we do that? First, you need to understand that this is a journey. This is not a destination. This is an evolution of you, growing and developing your character and who you're becoming as a human being, increasing your consciousness not only of you, but also the people in the world around you, so that you can increase your capacity to handle more with grace. This is a journey of emotional fitness, understanding when things happen to you and learning how to respond to them from a place of strength, confidence, and compassion, rather than reacting to things out of fear and doubt. The one tool that I utilized in my own personal life when I was younger was I went on a journey of self-discovery and I journaled. When something got me angry or upset, I went to my journal and started writing about the situation. Writing down what happened, how I handled it, and what would I do differently in the future if this same situation came up. And in the beginning, it may have taken me 4, 5, 6, 7 days to figure out what triggered me and how I responded to that situation. But just like anything, you're trying to increase your emotional fitness here. So what if you wanted to get physically stronger? Well, you would go to the gym and start working out. You don't get healthy from one workout. It's a series of habits that you have over a lifetime. It's no different with an emotional journey. You're trying to develop an emotional muscle that you may not be used to. So journaling is a great way of learning how to discover this on your own. Taking a step back, when something happens to you, ask yourself the question, what am I supposed to be learning from this situation? What is the life lesson here? And coming at it from that perspective, understanding what the lesson is and learning it, because chances are that same lesson is going to come around again in a different form until you've gotten through it easily and with grace. Another way to increase your emotional fitness is learning how to open your mind, gain perspective on how the mind and human nature works. Because if you don't know the rules of the game, then how can you increase your emotional fitness? If I want to play basketball and be successful at basketball, I have to understand the rules. 5 guys on the court at the same time. They all have to stay in bounds. You have to dribble the ball. You got to shoot the ball in the hoop. And every player is allowed 5 fouls. If I don't know 3 or 4 of those rules, how successful am I going to be at playing basketball? Yeah, not really. So understanding how the mind works, how human nature works, can really help you along your journey of increasing your emotional fitness. Now, these books made a profound impact on my life. The first one I recommended before is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Great book. The next one is The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. The next is An Open Heart by the Dalai Lama. The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma. And then lastly, on my hero, Bruce Lee by John Little, The Warrior Within. All of these books have helped me gain perspective on myself, how the mind works, and human nature. So if you want to increase your emotional fitness, try reading some of these books, as there are many other books that are out there as well that can help you with that. Speaking about Bruce Lee, this reminds me of a story I read about him. Him and his friend went out to a restaurant to eat, and they sat down at a table. When the waiter came over, the waiter recognized who Bruce was and proceeded to be extremely rude to him. Bruce just sat there calmly and placed his order. And when the waiter went away, his friend turned to Bruce and said, "Are you going to take that from him? You're Bruce Lee. You could squash him in a second." And Bruce's response was, "I came in this restaurant in a good mood. Why would I let him take me out of it?" And when I read that, that just blew my mind, the amount of emotional control that man actually had. Like, wow. So to wrap this all up, this mindset component is kind of like, if you're operating on a scale of 1 to 10, and you're operating at a 3 of where you are right now on your journey in life, and a number 5 problem comes along, well, that may be a pretty big problem for you. So the only way to handle those problems are to evolve, grow, and develop your character and who you are so that you're operating at a 7 or an 8. Now, when you're operating at an 8 and a number 5 problem comes along, you may not even recognize it as it being a problem. You're just going to handle it. That's what this emotional journey is about. Increasing your emotional fitness so that you can handle things with grace, strength, and compassion. I hope that helps with the mindset component. That second component, or that physiological or body component, is what I want to talk about next. Remember, what your mind says consciously or subconsciously, your body has to respond to, and vice versa. If your body is off or your physiology is off, this can negatively influence your mind and how you are thinking. So what am I talking about with those physiological components? Well, number 1 is weak digestion. Then you've got blood sugar issues, a disruption in your microbiome or dysbiosis, chronic inflammation, and subluxations in your spine that is causing stress in your nervous system and is weakening your body as a whole. So if I were personally suffering from anxiety and depression, where would I put my focus? I would focus first on 3 things. Number 1, I would focus on my diet, cleaning up the diet. People that have a lot of anxiety and depression eat too much ultra-processed foods, genetically modified foods, and fast foods. All this is doing is contributing to the digestion, the blood sugar issues, the microbiome, and the chronic inflammation and subluxations. You are adding gasoline to that fire, and it is just fueling your symptoms. So when you clean up your diet, I'm talking about eating lots of organic fruits and vegetables. Eat your clean meats, right? Your grass-fed beef, your organic chicken, your pasture-raised eggs, wild-caught fish. Stay away from all that farm-raised fish because that's genetically modified and is very toxic to the body. So that's what I'm talking about by meaning cleaning up the diet, and start there. The second thing I would focus on would be exercise. Get out and physically move the body and get your heart rate up with some level of intensity. This could be something like going for a brisk 30-minute walk, doing some push-ups or calisthenics or bodyweight exercises at home, going to a yoga class, playing a sport, playing tennis, pickleball, shooting a basketball around. Whatever it is that you got to do to get your heart rate up, If you were to exercise 30 minutes, 5 days a week, you would feel better. People don't understand is that exercise is the most underutilized form of anti-anxiety and anti-depression medication. So get out and move the body. The third thing I would focus on is go out and find a chiropractor and start getting adjusted regularly. I can't tell you how many times my patients who suffer from anxiety and depression tell me how much better they're feeling just by simply getting adjusted regularly. I've had patients who've had depression say that sadness, it just goes away when I get adjusted. And why is this? Well, when you have mental health issues such as anxiety or depression, this causes muscle tightness along the spine and causes subluxations. When you have subluxations in your spine, this interferes your brain-body communication through the nervous system and weakens your body on a whole. So when you get adjusted regularly and you restore that communication between your brain and your body, this balances out the nervous system, it makes your organs balanced and strengthens your immunity and strengthens the body on a whole. When the body is more in balance and stronger, doesn't matter what symptoms you have, the body has to express health when it's in balance. This is how chiropractic care can help people, not just with anxiety and depression, but with any type of issue at all. So if you have a mild to moderate form of anxiety, these 3 first action steps should be more than enough to get your body back into balance, strengthen it, and help to alleviate your symptoms. But however, if it doesn't, or if you have more of a moderate to severe form of anxiety or depression, or have been dealing with it for a long time, talking about years or decades, you may need some additional support in order to strengthen the body and get it back into balance. And what is this additional support I'm talking about? Well, finding yourself a functional medicine chiropractor or doctor that does gut work. You may need to do a deeper cleaning and repairing of the gut and helping to support the organs and get the microbiome back into balance and clean out any bowel toxicity that's there that is leading to the blood sugar issues and the chronic inflammation. That may be what's needed in addition to the first 3 steps to get your body stronger and back into balance and help to alleviate those symptoms. So I know I've gone over a lot of information in this video, but also in part 1 and part 2. But I want you to understand that health and well-being is the body's natural state. We do not need to outsmart the body. The body knows exactly what to do. We just got to give it the right support so that it can stay strong and in balance and thrive. The problem is most people abuse or neglect their body and don't make health a priority for them. So the body gets weaker and weaker and weaker until it gets stuck in that rut and gives you symptoms as a result of that. So remember that health is a skill too. And I know that a lot of this information could be overwhelming for some people. So I want you to focus on one thing, baby steps. What is the one thing that would be the easiest for you to implement in the information I've gone over today in this video? And then focus on that one thing for 3 to 4 weeks or longer if you need to, until you have mastered that habit and it has become easy for you. Then you can move on to the next one and then the next one. This is how health is built, by creating healthier habits that support health and well-being as opposed to abusing and neglecting the body. If you want more information on the digestion system, food, or anxiety and depression, I've done PowerPoint lectures on all 3 of these topics, and I'll link those videos down below. So thank you for watching this video. Please make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, share this video with somebody you think could benefit from it, but more importantly, leave a comment down below of something that you've learned from watching this video. All of these things helps the channel to grow and to get my message out to more people. So remember, it's your body, it's your choice, it's your health. Own it.